Okay, I'm going to stand back here. I'm on your head. No, I don't think that's good.
Sit on my lap.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Why I hear men talking? You know, it's just like, come on. Can you tell them,
We have a whole conversation.
come on. It will be the men in the room, right? Anyway, thank you all for being here. I'm so happy that you all came to join us. I'm Topeka K. Sam, founder and CEO of the Ladies of Hope Ministries. Thank you, Dr. Topeka K. Sam. Thank you, Dr. Hilton. And this space is a beautiful space for everyone, right? Foundation Chanel has been an incredible partner of the Ladies of Hope Ministries since, I want to say 2017. Maybe 2017, 2018. I know they were one of our founding partners. I ended up meeting Adeline Azarek, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it here today, who is the program, head of U.S. programs. And I was speaking on a panel in California, United States of the Women, and she came up to me after the panel and wanted to know more about, what it was that we were doing. And we had just started. And so at the time, I really wasn't sure, what to share because I'm scared, right? Here's Foundation Chanel asking me a bunch of questions about, this organization. We were in such infancy stages, being that we just launched in 2017. But what I knew was if I told her the vision of what it was that we wanted to do, that there would be no way that our visions, hold on one second. Excuse me. There would be no way that they would not buy into the vision of ending poverty and incarceration of women and girls. And so they did. And when you look at partners and you're looking for different partners and supporters and collaborators within your work, you want to always make sure that they have shared and aligned values. And for me, it was always one, I love Chanel. I spend money in Chanel personally. And I figured, well, if I spend money with the brand, then that brand should be spending money with us, right? And should be also supporting our work. And, for those who are in here who were in prison with me, they know I wear lipstick every single day. And it was always a thing for me that, no matter where we are, whatever space, we've always wanted to be beautiful, feel beautiful, and no one can take that away from us. And so while I was on that journey, they decided to partner with us, have been incredible through all of the ups and downs. When people decided not to work with us, they stayed with us. When we had to just stand up and say, this is what it is, they didn't leave us. And so, I just want to give them a round of applause, although some of them are in the room, and some of them aren't. They have supported us. At first it was a smaller grant. Now our last renewal was for 3 years. So we're in another 3 year extended partnership with them. This is the first of those additional 3. And this space, as well as other spaces, whether it's a boutique space, the employees, and we want to give it up for the employees who are here today, who have been so gracious of lending their time because they're closed on Tuesdays. So they actually opened this space up for us. In order to provide, beautiful services to everyone in here, but also to help to support the organization on this great Giving Tuesday day. And so some of you may have come in here, received some cards about the organization with a QR code that's asking for people to give. $1 is a lot, right? Because $1 can buy a hygiene product for somebody in one of our houses. And so there's no, it's like, what is it? No dollar amount is too little. We also have a collaboration going on right now with Baloo Living, which is a weighted blanket company. And to tell you all, if you've never felt a weighted blanket, you will never sleep like you sleep with a weighted blanket again in your life. I mean, I'm not selling it just because they are giving 100% of the proceeds to LOHM today. So you'll be making great Christmas gifts for all of your friends. So buy today. After today, we still get a percentage of the proceeds, and they actually collaborated with us on a Hope Rose, so a beautifully co-branded color that was produced specifically to raise money for the organization, which was super cool, right? And I want to give it up to Starling for leading that partnership in collaboration with the organization. But those blankets are awesome, so everybody should have one. No more champagne for her. But again, this would make our 5-year anniversary this year, and we are continuing to grow. And it's always thank you. It is a difficult thing to do. Anybody in here who started organizations, started a business, if you make it past the first 2 years, you've done something. And each time you go to another level, it becomes increasingly more difficult because there's more visions, there's more resources in order for you to sustain and scale your organization. And as you know, as Black women, it is difficult. We don't get any money, right, ever, really, to start businesses, to continue to keep businesses going. But then you add previously incarcerated women of color, and the things that we have been able to do are really unheard of. And so I'm incredibly proud of where we are, and for the team that I have. I have a great team who's also in here, some of who flew from all the way from Texas to be here, somebody who came from Harlem to be here, and friends who are all over, my friends from Jersey and Harlem and Jersey and Brooklyn and Harlem and North Carolina who came in just to support us here today. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. But without further ado, I talked about the organization and our epic vision to end poverty and incarceration of women and girls globally. And we do our work through 2 pillars. One is direct service and sustainability, and the other is advocacy and engagement. And what we know is we cannot advocate for ourselves or anyone else unless our basic human rights are met first, which is access to safe and affordable housing, healthy food, and equitable opportunity, and growth-focused career and/or entrepreneurship resources training, and also quality health care. And so we have 7 programs now, all of which actually attack all of these issues, as well as advocacy work where we have our Faces of Women in Prison program, which teaches women how to use their voice, to share their lived experiences, and also really feel confident enough to ask people to pay them, right, for speaking. It's important when we're sharing our story and our lived experience. Yes, it's important for us to be able to get compensated for that trauma that we are consistently reliving each and every time we are talking about what led us to a prison. But then outside of that, we also do bills. We pass bills. We worked on over 20 pieces of legislation nationally, changing conditions of confinement for women. Yes, it's something to clap about. But there's much more work to do. Each of us can contribute, not only to my organization, but to the others that are in the room as well. If there's something that you're passionate about, definitely, if you haven't been to prison, speak to somebody in the room who has. And by a show of hands, how many people here are impacted by incarceration? Right, so I often ask that question because you have people who raise their hands and they think impacted means that they've just been to prison, right? But impacted means each and every one of us are, because you have a loved one who's been incarcerated, probably a new friend now who's been incarcerated, someone you're sitting next to you who has been incarcerated. And so at the end, I'm going to ask again, how many people are impacted? And it's going to, thank you. And therefore, everyone's hand should go up. But that also speaks to stigmas, right? There's still a huge stigma around incarceration, and no matter how many of us boldly walk in our truth, there's still a lot of stigma around it, which is why it's difficult for people to transition and to do incredible things because of fear, right? Because of shame and guilt. But we create safe spaces. Chanel is another place that creates those spaces for women and girls to be able to blossom and transform your life. And I'm grateful to be joined on this panel by these beautiful faces of women who've all experienced and been impacted by the legal system. who will share their individual stories in whichever way they deem how. But really what's most important to me is the triumph and the resiliency and where they are today. Right? I tell people often, you know, if you want to hear what landed us there, Google us. I'm sure it's something you can find, whether true or false, it's there. You can see what it is that you want to hear and learn. But what's most important is where we are now and where we're going from here. And that is where the true story, the true journey lies, and where we are overcomers. And so I'm just going to pass the mic to my right, to my sister with the bright red tresses, Miss Ivy Wolf-Turk. And then everyone else, I don't like to speak for anyone. I want you to speak for yourselves.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ivy Wolf-Turk. I consider myself a friend, a cellmate of Topeka, and a collaborator and contributor to the loan. I am a formerly incarcerated freedom fighter, also known as a certified professional life coach, who decided after the trials and tribulations of coming home to a very unfelon-friendly world, that it was very important for me to find a way to leave no woman behind. As a white, privileged woman living in a halfway house in the Bronx in the early days, I realized that as a real estate developer who had crashed and burned, I had marginalized a lot of women who I now had become. And I decided if I couldn't make it out here, couldn't find a job, couldn't, after renovating and owning thousands and thousands of units of housing, I couldn't get one for myself. What were the sisters I left behind to do? And so I have spent the last 9 years educating myself and walking alongside as many women as I can to help them have the tools to get from the life they have to the life that they really want. Not the life they were told they should or have to have, but the one they really want, or maybe haven't even yet dared to dream. And so that's who I am. I'm finally standing in who I really am, doing what I love, and really trusting that more is possible than even I or any of you can imagine. So, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Starling Thomas. I am the Communications Director for the Ladies of Hope Ministries, and I'm also, hey! So all that stuff y'all see, yeah, that's me, that's me. But I'm also a filmmaker as well. I have been impacted by incarceration since I was 8 years old, when I witnessed a police officer brutally beat my mother in front of me at a doctor's office in Texas. I'm from Texas. And so from that moment, oh, Texas and all? What's up? So I was 8 years old. I witnessed that. My mother went on to become incarcerated at 6 months pregnant, and gave birth to my youngest brother while handcuffed and chained to a bed in Texas Department of Corrections. And so I thought I did everything right to not go to prison, right? I went to college. I thought if you got educated and you did everything you were supposed to do, you would not become incarcerated, and that is not the truth. 15 years later, I found myself on the other side of the system, and was fighting for my freedom and my life in the feds. They wanted to sentence me to over 100 years because I did not take a plea deal, and I went to trial. I lost that trial. Thankfully, my public defender, because if anybody has been in the federal system, they are not the same cost as the state attorney. And thankfully, thank God, this attorney stayed on my case, and I lost that trial, but I won my appeal, and I'm part of the 2%, minuscule 2% of the population that actually wins their case on appeal. So I actually beat the feds. And so going through that, I knew, especially witnessing my mother, I knew that I had to be a voice. I didn't understand why God allowed me to go through that at that time, but now it all makes sense. And so I am now blessed with the opportunity to not only elevate my story, but the stories of my sisters. And my mom actually joined FOWI. I was the inaugural FOWI cohort, the first. We actually all three of us were in the first. Yeah, we're in the first Faces of Women in Prison cohort, and now it's just a blessing because my mother actually never healed. That was over 25 years ago. That was in the 90s when we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have, social justice was not a thing. And so now she went through FOWI. She is healing. I have other family members who went through FOWI and they are healing. And so, I have been following Topeka since I got out of prison. I have no idea how. Hashtags, Instagram, whatever, however that works. And when I got into the program, I saw a need, and I really felt like I could take this organization to the next level by elevating our external communications, and I implemented myself. I said, listen, I interviewed for a job that I didn't even want, but I said, this is what y'all need, so I'm going to be here today. And so it's been an amazing journey. This walk is not easy, but I'm just grateful to have sisters that, are very supportive, and Topeka is very supportive of what she's doing. She's a visionary, right? Nobody is doing this work in the way that she is, so I'm grateful to be able to work alongside her. She's also a mentor, and see the way that she leads and implement that into my own life. And so now I'm actually in production of my very first feature documentary. It's called Black Butterflies. We're still raising funds, so if anybody's interested in hearing production and film, let me know. But it's going to expose the criminal legal system and all of the tactics and the manipulation and the things that they do to target women and get convictions, often women of color, and it's modern day genocide. They are literally tearing our families apart. And obviously we know when our men are incarcerated it's an issue, but when you take the woman out of the home, you cause generational trauma. And so my mother was incarcerated, I was incarcerated, I have a daughter now, and it's done.
Come on.
But yeah, I'm just grateful to be here and be in this space, and thank you. Amen.
Hey everybody. So my name is Halima Washington, and I'm so honored to be here with you all tonight. I use her, she pronouns, like the chocolate, and any other pronouns say you like. Okay? So that's a little bit about who I am. And incarceration has impacted me as a juvenile. I was incarcerated in Spofford and OCFS and Division for Youth, or DFY, is what it was known as in the early days here in New York State. And so I entered that institution at 14, and I graduated out at 18, or I was released on my 18th birthday with a token, and they told me to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And since then, I have figured it out, and I'm so glad that I have found other people along my journey that have also figured it out. And one of those people is Topeka. I was introduced to Ladies of Hope Ministries in 2017 when it was still in its infancy. And I was blown away by the vision from the beginning. The very first Hope House, me and my son were there to help to fix furniture and build furniture and make that a place that was decent enough for women coming home from prison to experience. Then I also completed the Faces of Women in Prison cohort, where I learned that my story is a privilege to hear. That's right. Yeah. Okay? My story is a privilege to hear. And you gotta pay me to hear the rest of my story.
Amen.
But I'm gonna tell you a little bit of everything. No, but seriously, it has been a remarkable journey. I also participated in the Loams Ladies of Hope Ministries doula initiative. Yeah. So I am a graduate of the first initial cohort and the second and the third cohort. So I am still expanding my birth worker resume with the help of Ladies of Hope Ministries. I don't feel like I am ready. So I am still building my community as a birth worker. One of my community members is here, Evelyn. I'm gonna shout you out. Because she has also helped me to learn the importance of birth work and what it means to be there for people, what it means to actually support a person that is experiencing probably one of the most pivotal moments in their life. What else? I am also, let's see. Well, I was part of a home birth last year, and that helped to solidify my feelings about birth work and like, this is what I want to do with my life. So Topeka helped me to unveil that part of me too. The birth worker in me. I'm sure all of us have birth workers in us too. So it takes a very special person to be a birth worker. And I was able to uncover that special expertise in me through the Ladies of Hope Ministries. And I hope that you all here today can find it in your hearts and your wallets to donate to Ladies of Hope Ministries so that they can continue their awesome programming. A couple of other, I recommend the doula initiative or the doula cohorts to my friends and family to help them to learn about what they can do in case they're in a situation of being around people that are giving birth, or if they choose to do that, it's just another option available to folks. But I appreciate the Ladies of Hope Ministries for giving people options. Entrepreneurial options. And that is part of their mission to end in poverty and incarceration in women and girls. And that helps. And I'm complete.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanya Pierce. I'm glad to be here. Thank you everyone. So many of my sisters are here. I share the similar story like Ivy and Sterling. I served time in federal prison at Danbury, which Topeka and everyone passed through there. And I'm so happy here to have my sister Jamila here today, which was the person who I met when I first walked into Danbury and greeted me. Thank you so much, sis, for being here today. And what I want to say is that what we find here in New York is that there's a disparity in people returning from the feds in the state and reentry, especially for women. So what we are working on now with the thankful to the Ladies of Hope Ministry is remission and clemency. Yes. For women who have restitutions. Through the Ladies of Hope Ministry, we have submitted 27 clemency applications. We've had lunch and learns with the partner attorney. We've also been able to start working on legislation. Right now, we are working with the NACDL, Reform Alliance, and we are positioning ourselves to introduce legislation around restitution reform in the new Senate, the new Congress, which is in January, which I'm extremely excited for because ever since the MVRA Act about 30 years ago, there has never been any discussions or any reform around restitution, and it has ballooned. And as we know, over the last 25 years, it has been women that has been going to prison, especially in the federal system. So, which my sister introduced here was ghost numbers. A lot of us that are here.
What restitution is?
Okay. Yes. Sis, You want to jump in?
Come on. My big sis.
Hello, everyone. Little tipsy over the little drinks over here. But restitution is the amount of money that you pay for whoever your victim was. It could be an institution, it could be a person, it could be a bank. I myself have a $15 million restitution right now. And it's considered to be a life sentence for many of us, because for many of us, we'll never make the amount of money to actually pay it. So through the Ladies of Hope Ministry, this is how me and Tavika actually reconnected, was through this campaign. We're using our stories to really explain to people the impact of things. And it's really the impact that stops you from actually creating generational wealth. Like, I've been one of the people who've been pretty successful coming home from prison, but I still can't buy things in my name. I have to use a corporation. I have to use a parent. I have to, you could be successful on worldly terms, but then when it comes time to try to get an apartment, they say denied. So you can't get in, right? And with restitutions hanging over your head like the numbers that we have, we'll never ever be able to get a true second chance. So people kill people. People kill a couple of people and they get a second chance. But people like us who made a mistake trying to correct ourselves, many of us giving back and doing amazing things in society, we still don't get a true second chance. So with the help of Ladies of Hope Ministry, we created this campaign to share our stories, to tell the impact of what we're going through, and really share our experiences with people. And I found it amazing to see the pardon attorney and their whole entire staff who do this work every single day that don't understand the true implications that it has on others. So I think when we become real people to people and not just numbers, right, we're able to really influence people to understand that although people make mistakes, they are not a mistake. So don't treat them like that or throw them away. I'm grateful
for one other thing is that a lot of us don't understand. Like, we hear about the people that are going through restitution things, but I had to co-sign for my husband's restitution. So if he didn't pay his restitution, then I had to co-sign and pay it, and he didn't pay it. So that's a whole nother thing that I think that it may be something that you may want to implement in this whole program, because a lot of us don't get the husbands and the wives of these men that are incarcerated never get to tell their stories. I'm always supporting, people going through it, but I was impacted too. And I had to sign my name. And if he didn't pay, then I had to pay. So that was a whole nother deal for me and my kids.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's, again, this is why it's so important to share, right? And to tell our stories, because as much as we're in this work every day, and as we've heard, doing this campaign, this is the first time I've heard that. The first time, right? And so we're always learning, right? When a person shares their experience, that's why it's critical for all of us to be able to do that. So thank you so much for just being here, being my friend, because it's for me. But also sharing your lived experience as being a wife of an incarcerated loved one who has served a decade in prison, and the things that you had to go through that, and then fostering that person home, and then, to your point, the debts that carry it along with the family. Thank you.
Thank you. And it was just last week, Dr. Pryor and I met with the U.S. Attorney of Brooklyn for the first time to do a reentry simulation and really discuss the impact, and we discussed restitution, clemency, and going forward with their staff. I'm also a consultant in Columbia Law School, which is dealing with the students and teaching them, because those are the next judges, prosecutors at Columbia Law School. These are the people that we're going to see, and also impacting them and letting them know our struggles and what they have done wrong. And last weekend, I went to the ABA in Washington, D.C. to speak with the criminal justice section, because their attorneys are not being taught about restitution. So how can you have the ABA not having panels around restitution, and these are our attorneys? So we are really excited about our work that we're doing, but it's also our lives. And we're hoping to make changes for our personal selves, our families, and also the future. And when someone asks me, what do you expect? What would you like to see out of remission? Well, of course, I would like to see my $5 million gone immediately, immediately. But also, everyone having a fair opportunity.
There you go.
If I'm going to owe restitution, let it be for money that I received with an opportunity to settle the debt or discuss the debt. But don't hand me ghost numbers, money I've never received, just so that you can get a promotion or be on the news saying, you know, I took down this ring, a $5 million ring, but yet maybe people got $10,000. And when I spoke with the ABA last week, I said, well, it seems like the baby has birth because you had the SBA loans, then you had the mortgage fraud, second trimester. Now the third trimester is PPP. All these people haven't gotten the money, but they're going to prison and have restitutions for money they've never received. And this has to stop. And I know that working with Loan Reform Alliance, my sister here, and now we have another sister to join us at the NACDL. I will definitely be taking you with me when I make more addendums. When I make more addendums to the bill. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
One more thing that I forgot to mention that I also am now currently doing work with parents that have had their children removed by child welfare. And so parents who have had dealings or investigations by child welfare agencies, I'm working with an organization now to dismantle and abolish the current child welfare system. This is going to be an uphill battle, but we see that it is absolutely necessary because the system that we currently have is not there for the welfare of children. It actually is there to target, surveil, punish, and criminalize Black and brown families and communities, and so we will not stand for that anymore. And so that's the work that I'm doing these days, along with being a doula and a community member and a mom and a this and a that.
Let's give it up for the beautiful sisters. And this is just a small example of all the brilliance, right, that come through those prison doors and out of those doors. And while you heard everyone so eloquently speak about their experiences, their life, you know, where they come from, the things that they're moving away from, there's still struggles, right? Like each and every day, we're struggling. We're struggling because we are still healing from the traumas, the many traumas that led us through prison, to prison, the traumas that were inflicted upon us in prison, and the traumas that we have to face once we're released from prison. And that is a lifelong journey. And so while they're sharing here, you know, everyone can't do this, right? Because it does, you know, to talk about the fact that as a child, what you saw happen to your mother, right? To talk about the things that you've experienced within your community. To talk about, you know, the burden and the lifelong sentences that you are still operating under, debts that you're paying that you never even received $1 for. You know, paying a victim that does not exist. You know, like all of the things that people are experiencing, specifically women, because we know how the system disproportionately impacts women. That is a fact. And while, you know, often people ask me, well, why do you always focus on women? Why do you do this work? I said, well, wait, for every man that is incarcerated, there's a woman who is incarcerated with him at home. Whether it is his wife, his mother, his grandma, his auntie, his girlfriend, his daughter, his sister, his baby mama, his girlfriend, blah, blah, right? Like, that's about 10 sisters that are incarcerated with that one brother. Which is why we support our sisters, because the brothers get the support through that too, right? But I also want to acknowledge, I saw Raymond come in the room. Hey, Raymond. So Raymond works with us through Chanel. He is our program associates. Ray, can you come up and say a few words, please? I'm like, I didn't expect that, but I was giving you all the shout outs and love, and then I just saw you. You say whatever is on your heart, Raymond. This Great Giving Tuesday.
Hey everybody, good evening. My name is Raymond. I am part of the Fondation Chanel team, and it's all been our immense pleasure to have encountered Topeka and Ladies of Hope Ministries in around 2018, and was in some ways able to support the organization early-ish in your journey, maybe not as early as might have been as catalytic, but just hearing the stories of y'all, how you're sharing how the humanization of the criminal justice system as it exists here in the United States has impacted your lives, and also what you're doing about it is just amazing and gives us hope amidst sometimes the feeling that it's too big of a beast to make any dent on. So I want to thank Topeka. I want to thank Ladies of Hope Ministries, y'all for being here, and to all the supporters out there. Hopefully we can all come together to support Ladies of Hope Ministries, these wonderful women, and everyone working out there to make opportunity and a better life possible for more people, if not everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
That was Raymond on the spot. See, you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I had also recently was connected to a Karen, who I'm going to ask to come up here for a second and just say a few words. I was connected to her through a partner of ours, S.C. Johnson Company, and she is the head of the Black and Latina Alliance. She'll tell you more about it. But we were connected because she's here in the city and wanted to get engaged with the employees of SCJ who are local to supporting other working organizations, and they chose us and hit the ground running. We were graciously offered space in partnership with Coda Alliance, and shout out to Sister Catherine over here. We were able to come in and do a great turkey giveaway the other day with the support, both physically coming there, but also financially. Also, Instacart is here, and they were one of our first supporters and also helped. But I wanted to give her an opportunity to also speak, to share why it's important for different corporations and businesses to get involved, and why the employees are part of the community that not only we are, but that we serve. Give it up for Karen.
Thank you. That was a very warm welcome, Topeka, and I am privileged to be amongst all these beautiful women and all these women who are really doing some great work. As Topeka mentioned, I am a member of an employee resource group in my organization, both the African American Business Council and also our Latin Council and our Veterans Council, but I was most involved in our Alliance of Black Professionals, and I felt that, growing up in Harlem, I wanted to do something for my community, and I was thinking of ways of how I can get more involved. Our company, the company I work for, S.C. Johnson, is located in Chicago, so there's a lot of field employees all over the place, and I was looking for an opportunity to just get involved and get engaged. I feel that I'm truly blessed, and I think with blessings, you've got to pass that blessing forward to others. And there's a huge opportunity to do that. And it takes a village, and we are that village. We are each other's village. It's important that when we are blessed, we pass that blessing forward, that we are lending that hand, we're lending that shoulder. And so while, when I had that conversation with Topeka the first time, I was super excited. I was like, I want to be a part of this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I want in. I want to figure out how I can give. I want to figure out how I can support. And listen, cash is king. So if you got cash, give up the cash. They need the cash. And I told Topeka, if you don't ask, you don't get. So we got to ask for the cash. But in addition to the cash, we need people to help. You need people to get involved. You need people to be vested, to say, I want to do something. Because all connected, it makes a difference. It makes a difference when you bring a friend in. It makes a difference when you tell a neighbor. It makes a difference when you talk about it in your organization. So I encourage everyone here, if you haven't had conversations within your organization, to be a part of it in some way, to donate in some way, to talk about it in some way about Ladies of Hope's mission, do it. Take the courage and ask. I went to my organization, I asked for money, and they said no. I literally had a conversation with Topeka and said, well, I ain't got no money. Like, they said no, and coming out of the conversation with her, I went back and said, are you sure we can't give nothing? Like, it's Thanksgiving, we can't give a couple dollars for some turkeys? And they said, all right, here's some. And so I think it's that type of enthusiasm, it's that type of passion that we just need everyone to be a part of. Again, money goes a long way, but I also think what goes a long way is people being invested and wanting to do things. So I encourage everyone, reach out to Topeka, reach out to her team, say how you can help, how you can volunteer, how you can send out flyers, how you can put things on social media and spread the word, because you may not be able to give $1 million, but you might know somebody who could give $1 million. And so I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to hear these inspirational stories, and I'm thankful that Topeka corrected us in saying, you may not have been impacted by incarceration by you going to prison, but all of us haven't been impacted. And when you think about it that way in a broader sense, you realize how many people are impacted and how the need exists. And so thank you, Topeka, for inviting me. I'm happy to be here and happy to have met so many of you.
All right. Well, I don't know if anybody, just want to give everyone the opportunity to Q&A. Anybody want to ask any questions? Anybody want to share anything? It's a safe space. If not, I'll let y'all drink some champagne. Oh, this hands. Okay.
My question is probably not what you're looking for. But if we spend money here tonight, does it go to you?
Yes, so what we're doing with them is that we are working between the foundation and the store. We're working something out. So I can't say that, but shop. But shop, guys, shop. And you can buy a blanket, 100% of that goes. So you need mascara? Get mascara. Get mascara. Yes.
I just want to say to Topeka and everybody here, thank you. You have helped feed me and my family on numerous occasions. I remember my most memorable moment was at for one, I've never shopped at, what's that, Wegmans by myself.
Okay.
Never. But through Ladies of Hope, I was able to get food from there, and I remember it was a long line during the pandemic, and I was standing on the back, my mother, and my mom went to the front. She was like, I don't think we have to wait on this line. I'm like, Mom, I think we do. Like, even though we have food waiting for us, I think we still have to. She's like, no, I'm going to the front. So she went to the front while I waited on the line, and I see my mom coming back and talking to some lady, just talking to her, and my mom comes back like, I told you we have to wait on the line. And I swear that whole line, like, be the first come last and the last come first.
Yeah.
That's what happened. We went straight. Everybody looking at like, what the hell? And then we left with like 16 bags of food. Like 16 big bags. Like, this is like April, May, so the line was deep going down Flushing. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. Don't make me cry. I don't want my lashes to fall off. But thank you. We do this work because we are blessed. And it is great. You don't know the impact that you have on the many people that you have that impact on. So thank you for sharing. Thank you. I'm getting
I'm like, I'm doing all the time. And I would look at my phone and I have text messages like, oh, you need food? I'm like, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
So I just want to say that this get ready because they're coming off. There was a time this lady and I were in a place where it was pretty dark and pretty desolate, and food was not plentiful. And somehow, Miss Jamila always made nachos, and Topeka always made sure that I had something to eat. And when I came home, I was like a matriarch without a dining room table. Like I didn't have money for food. I moved into my daughter's apartment with like a stick lamp and an air mattress and a dog. And all of a sudden, like, I got this call from Topeka, and she said, "Girl, you hungry?" And I went, "I'm always hungry." And she said, "Okay, what's your address again?" And all of a sudden, bags and bags of Instacart food showed up. Organic this and yogurt and all the stuff. And the only deal was that I made her egg salad.
Because I love food too. She makes a mean egg salad.
I want to do this, but I don't want nobody to see my hat. I want so can you stand right there, because people are leaving this earth, and before and when your heart says do something, I really want to see it done. Can you stand right there? Can everybody stand? Right, because I saw that movie King Hero or King Woman or King Woman King. Y'all go around that side. Everybody go around that side. So everybody has a clear vision of Topeka. A clear vision of Topeka. Because when I saw that movie, I don't know why, but she kind of got that woman look, that King Hero. King Hero. Can you ladies in the middle make a circle around there? So because if I'm not here tomorrow, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. But if I'm not here tomorrow, I want to give her. Is that my pocketbook? No, it's not. But if I'm not here tomorrow, I want to give you your flowers while you yet live. I've seen you do so much for so many, and not celebrate many times at all. You are a beautiful woman on the outside, but I've seen the beauty from the inside. Continue to soar, my sweet sister. Yes. Could y'all all please just reach your hand out? Whatever you have that will be able to strengthen for 2023 and moving forward. Camera woman, if you can, take as many pictures as you can. Yes. As women continue to lift her up and soar, because she is our King Hero. King Shiro. King Chanel, woman Chanel. We love you, Topeka.
We love you.
To comment behind her, it just let me know, right, like that you are somebody I can look up to and just continue to encourage, not just mention. And you just continue to encourage, even though you was like one day you was like this all night, I was like, she was like this all night. She was trying to pick my brain. I said, you don't just take this answer to me alone. Like, I am who I am today, and I'll check me out tomorrow. I'll be somebody different. But I just want to tell you, thank you. And thank you for all the work you're doing. Thank you for always thinking of me, inviting me. Because just a while ago, you was like, we need to get together so we can invite other women to see how we live. But you just invited me to show how to live too. So thank you. It's God's will.
I want to say something. So I want to say that, a few years ago, right, when we first met, it was like an honor and a privilege to be introduced to you, and we became very close. And in our sisterhood and our closeness, sometimes we have a way of allowing people to get in our ear and our head, and to create dissension. And that little kind of jealousy, kind of plant that in your head and all these things. And we have enough of that. So I want to say here publicly, like I've been doing, that not just giving you your flowers, but I know you. We know each other. And so, again, publicly apologizing for whatever harm that I have caused. Bring somebody else who's in the room into this, because I'm not sure what the harm was, but I know harm was caused, Jamila. Because I love you. And so my actions or my responses to other people's actions and things caused harm. So I want to say that we do that often and not realizing it. So I want to say this publicly because that's what we should do. Number one is women, absolutely to black women. Enough is enough.
So I just want to say something now.
I'm missing somebody. I don't want to overstep that. Tanya, the same goes to you.
Oh, wow.
The same goes to you, my sister. Enough is enough. We have to do this together. Because we're all we got.
So, what I wanted to say to funders, especially, and for all those looking to fund this work, you have to understand that women who commit crimes offend for very different reasons than men, right? And a lot of our reasons are because of trauma and unresolved issues that lead to incarceration. And myself, I'm now Dr. Davis. My dissertation was on dethroning the trauma, which affects so many of us. So when you donate to places like the Loom, you're actually causing real rehabilitation, because the places and the spaces that they lock us up in do not provide help nor any restoration. So if you put a woman in prison because she has issues that deal with trauma and you don't give her any help and you just warehouse her, you're taking her out and letting her out in society to make society a worse place because we didn't really get the healing that we deserve. So when you give to places like the Loom, you're really giving to a healing hub. A place where incarcerated women can come and finally resolve their issues. So understand what your donations are going to. It's really going to helping this world become a better place. And that is in doing real rehabilitation of people who really need help, services, and resources. So I'm grateful for my sister Topeka, and I'm grateful for the Loom.
Thank you.
Well, Kenya, I gotta say something. Well, I was not incarcerated, but however, Topeka, I learned from Topeka that I was impacted. Because she asked me one day, she said, Rochelle, you know you was impacted? I said, no, I wasn't. Because I was thinking that it was because impacted me into being incarcerated. But because I was dealing with my husband for 10 years, you know, being incarcerated, I said, okay, so I guess I am impacted. But I just want to close this with you guys, all of us, each and every last one of us, we just got to get out of our own way. Get out of your own way and ask for help. Nobody knows that you're struggling. Nobody knows what you're going through until you say, I am having this difficulty. I'm struggling with this, Topeka. I'm struggling with this, Simone. Nobody knows. Nobody's in your head. Nobody understands what you're going through unless you open up your mouth. A closed mouth don't get fed. And you can't catch a ball with a closed fist. So that's what I want to offer you guys. And I'm praying for all you guys. And this is an amazing, amazing talk to Topeka. Because, you know, I don't talk.
You're going to fight tonight. Right. By some mascara lipstick on stage. I just want to close by saying God knows what we need when we need it. You know, the strongest of us fight the most silent battles. And while, you know, thank you, Chris, for always having me make this work look easy and good. God knows. Yes. It is hard. God knows that I am struggling. I'm struggling now. God knows I'm fighting so many battles now. But what I will say is God knew that I needed to be here tonight.
Yes.
That each of you needed to be here tonight. And that I needed to hear with the words that you poured into me tonight. And so often when we are servant leaders and we are giving every single day, people don't pour into us. And so we're emptying our cup and we're never having an opportunity to fill it back. But I want to thank each of you for giving me a full cup tonight. For allowing me to understand that even though this battle is hard, it is not over, and I'm called and anointed to do this work. And this is why I have to do it in the way that I do. And no matter what tries to stop, Lord says the weapon will form, but it will not prosper. But it will not prosper. Thank you. So I am grateful for all of the love, all of the support, all of you taking time out of your busy schedule tonight for opening up this space and circle to honor and elevate me, because we don't get it, right? Like those of us who are out here, we have to keep telling ourselves, keep going. We got to talk to ourselves and say, no one says thank you to people. People don't say I'm proud of you. I have to look at myself in the mirror every day and tell myself keep going. And today was one of those things that I needed to hear, no matter how strong I am and no matter how much I tell myself. God knew I needed to hear this from you. So this makes me know that I am right aligned yet again, that there is much more for us to do collectively, because we do grow, right? Each of us grow at different times, and I believe this season was a time of growth. Next season is a time of collaboration, and I'm excited to see the things that we will all do together in order to help to end poverty and incarceration of women and girls. So I love you all. And please, buy blankets, buy slips, buy fragrance. All right, bye.